I went to Disc Replay and bought some movies. You know, we got National Lampoons, National Lampoons, National Lampoons, more National Lampoons, National Lampoons, National Lampoons, National Lampoons, Magic Mike and Shirley Temple.
Falls too early, so they say. Some will go, others just stay and stay. So have a round on me, my friends, but a couple days are through. You know I always love 'em, but I think it's time that we flew. We went dancing all across the USA on that crazy King's Highway. Too much passion, too much play. We went dancing, dancing, dancing across the USA. I wonder if they'll ever understand the trials of a freedom-seeking man.
It's been about a year since I started to binge watch every National Lampoon's movie. In March, I made a prologue video talking about it, and then several months later, for my 200th video, I made the review video. Now it's the epilogue. I've had time to relax from all the garbage that was put into my system, and now I can finally shit it out. Today we will be talking about some of the lost media that was made under the Lampoon name and discussing it. Let's start with the first movie that isn't technically lost media, but is extremely rare. It's also debatable if it's a National Lampoon's movie. Meet the Parents. No, not that one. The original Meet the Parents from 1992. The reason I said it's debatable is because of this poster. That is it. And it's so frustrating because there's no other information on it. Nonetheless, I was able to find it through this Reddit post I made. I watched it and... Well, wait. Firstly, I watched the 2000 version for the first time, and then I watched the 1992 version. I know it's a bit out of order to watch the remake first, but I don't know why. Anyways, I'll be calling the original the Greg cut and the remake the De Niro cut. The De Niro cut was decent. To me, it felt very Hollywoody, if that makes sense. Like, even without watching the original first, you can tell stuff was added in the script just for the sake of it. I'm not a huge fan of the CIA stuff either, and the acting was, well, I know it's the point, but just awkward, and it was secondhand embarrassment, honestly, and I really didn't like it much. 2 out of 5. Then I watched the Greg cut. I thought it was better than the remake, but not by much. I enjoyed the more relatable stuff, like watching adult videos in front of... That sounds weird. Watching sex scenes that are in movies in front of family and how over the top it was, without going too over the top. For example, it goes from the boyfriend drowning the dog, throwing a stick in the ocean, to stabbing the mom's eye out, to then getting shot by almost getting shot by a rifle from the dad. It's so dramatic, but in a comical way. You would have to watch it to know what I mean. You can tell the actor who plays Greg isn't the best at acting, but it gets the job done. Anywho, 2.5 out of 5. But like I said, it's really rare because Hollywood kind of just hid it under the carpet after buying the rights. But I have a copy, so if you'd like to watch it, I can send it to you through Mega or Google Drive. Now what we're going to be talking about are movies or videos that were announced or filmed, but simply impossible to find. I have a letterbox list for National Lampoon's movies and the lost media, if you ever need a list to go off of. I've mentioned some of these movies before, but I'll try to go into some detail and my story along the way. We talked about Meet the Parents, but that's safe and sound on YouTube and my computer. 3 short films seem to be made by the same people or group. Boobies, Professor Pepper's School of Good Stuff, and Wannabes. I actually was able to talk to one of the actors of these short films, and she was able to bring some light on the subject. So long story short, she does have a copy of them, but unless I contact every cast member or a higher up from the National Lampoon's company, they're basically stuck in the Lampoon vault. As you can see, I tried to hint on her sending me the VHS, but I didn't really want to push on the subject. She was very helpful though. Cheerleaders Must Die was a Kickstarter project that was picked up by National Lampoon's. Doing research, I checked the Kickstarter page to see if there was any updates. The last update was from 2017, basically saying, "We will make the movie again." And then I found a Facebook page for the movie, and I decided to message them, asking them this. And to my surprise, they actually messaged me back, and they gave a lot of info on the topic. "Hi Mark, PPM is not currently in active development. There's always a chance that it will come back, but currently all of the creative team is working on other projects. There was a time when we were in negotiations with National Lampoon's, but that deal did not pan out. We really appreciate your continued interest in the project. Pom Pom Massacre has a really great group of supporters, considering that it's a movie yet to be made. Should it get dusted off the shelf, I can promise that we won't keep it a secret. We'll let everybody know." Next is American Adventure. The reason this one's puzzling is because on the IMDb, not only does it say National Lampoon's American Adventure, it says it's a spin-off of Vacation. What? Well, now I gotta find it. Let's just do our research on YouTube and... oh, it's right there. Well, it was only one... Timeout. I can't believe how ridiculous this is. I've been following basically like a red herring this whole time. So I'm looking through, and I was about to say how I watched I watched this 10-minute video of what I thought was American Adventure. And then I found out, excuse me for not being knowledge on American Girl dolls, but the full movie is right here. But it's an American Girl adventure movie. And then I was like, well, that doesn't make sense because in a second I'll read out what the email says. But he says it was directed by, it stars Gary Cole. And I'm like, Gary Cole isn't in this movie. The IMDb has listed this image. Basically, this whole thing is a misunderstanding. What I'm getting at is that whatever's on the IMDb is wrong, except for the cast. And as the email says, it's not, there's no footage of it. But yeah, I was fooled. I was googled. Side note, in the prologue I mentioned a movie called The Guys from 1996. Well, both movies were made by the same person, so I decided to email the production company, and this is what they said. As far as I can remember, The Guys was a show I created as an indie pilot about 20 years ago, and I think National Lampoon's optioned it for a while. American Adventure was actually a pilot I directed for NBC, and starred Gary Cole and Helen Slater, meant to be in the spirit of National Lampoon's Vacation. Not sure why IMDb lists it as a shit. Not sure why... Not sure why the IMDb listed as a short. Don't have any footage any of... So that answers that question. I also briefly talked about Frat Chance from 2011. It was simply a movie that was purchased by National Lampoon's in 2009, but I'm guessing it was scrapped or probably repurposed into another movie. When Old People Attack is a hidden camera show from 2009. It obviously exists somewhere, but honestly, I cannot find it. I've searched West and the Best, Pirate Bay, and Reddit. Nowhere, so I think it might have ran on TV once or twice and then just disappeared, and I don't really care anymore to bother finding it. Same goes for the movie Dirty Politics. Set to release in 2009, some dates say 2018, but that might have been a re-release. I honestly don't know. What I do know is that National Lampoon's promised to distribute it, and it didn't go anywhere. It apparently was a limited release in colleges, but no footage is online, except for the director's YouTube channel, oddly enough. There's several clips of the movie. I think he was trying to set up some type of, ARG, but other than that, there's nothing on it. Now let's talk about the final movie, National Lampoon's Crazy Holiday. According to this Facebook post, it was briefly on YouTube, so it definitely exists. The cover that is on the screen is from a VHS cover, so it was released, but where is it? I have no idea. That's to be determined. I've emailed 2 people, I Facebook messaged 2 random Greek people, I made an account on a Greek forum page. I've made Reddit posts. I cannot find this movie for the life of me. so I think it might be lost in the Greek vault of Zeus or something. Out of all the movies that I've discussed, this is the one that I really do want to find. I'm not really sure why, but before I die, I'd like to at least find it, even though it's probably all going to be in Greek and I can't even watch it, but whatever. Anyways, that's the epilogue of National Lampoons. Before I go, I do need to mention that the National Lampoon Strip Poker I still have not bought, because that is also a form of discussion of lost media, because it's only on DVD, it's nowhere online, and there's only one volume on eBay, and I think there's like 5 volumes in total. So that's gonna be the fourth video, the porn video. Before I go, I do have a surprise. I watched every episode of the Animal House spin-off TV show, Delta House. Let me review that real quick. Now, reviewing the show is fitting because there is a somewhat lost episode of the show, episode 7, Deformity. The show as a whole is honestly quite decent, and I would say it's a somewhat faithful spin-off to the show, despite it being extremely watered down and some cast changes. It sucks that John Belushi isn't in the show. However, the actor who plays Bluto's younger brother, Blotto, I'd say is as good as you can get for playing a John Belushi character, besides like Jim Belushi. It's about as good as a substitute as John Goodman was for Blues Brothers 2000 anymore. Yeah, that's it. Goodbye.